Hey guys, it's Anna. Welcome back to another video on my channel. So today I'm going to be doing my third, I think, journal flip through, and I'm going to try to do a voiceover. So this will be interesting, and forgive me if it's a little jumpy. And because of that, this flip through is only going to be for a portion of it. So it's going to start at the beginning, which I think I started April 26th of this year, and it's going to continue on until September. I will definitely be filming an updated version of this once I've completed the entire journal, so you guys can see what I did towards the end of it as well. So this is the first page, and as always, I put "Welcome to your life, there's no turning back," which is a quote from Tears for Fears, and I put that at the beginning of all of my journals. It's a beautiful quote from a song that I love, and it seems very applicable to be in my journal. On the other page, I am just using some art that I found at my university's library. There was a bin where you could just kind of like get rid of scrap paper that you printed and didn't need anymore, and somebody had printed off all of these like really pretty ornate pictures of Renaissance paintings, so I took them and decided to use them in my journal, and this is one of them. And this is the first page of the journal, so it's kind of just an introductory one. So the next page is the first time that you see me covering up information that I just don't feel comfortable sharing. That portion was basically just talking about some friend drama that I had experienced, so I wanted to document that. And the other side just has information on me at the moment, so my age, what I'm currently doing writing-wise, my most recent listen, things of the sort. It's just a fun way for me to be able to look back and see what exactly I was doing at the time of writing this. So here we get to the section where I talk about seeing Avengers Infinity War, and I talk about it for quite a few pages, as you can see. And then I have this quote from Gamora and Star-Lord, who are my favorite couple out of the Marvelverse. I'm obsessed with Guardians of the Galaxy in general, but specifically Star-Lord and Gamora. I just love them so much. So I printed out this picture of them being a cute little couple, and then I wrote some unspoken thing on the other side, which is like a major quote about the two of them. This page really doesn't have any significance. It's just kind of an artsy one that I decided to do. I just really wanted to use the cutout of this flower that I thought was really pretty, and then I had some other pictures that I had printed a while ago and wanted to use, so I cut one of them up and made these weird triangle kind of things that I think turned out really neat looking, and then just used this really pretty sunset picture that I had. So here we have a page that says May 5th, obviously, and that is because that is the day that I graduated. So on this page I have a picture of my fish son Bartleby and I post-graduation, and then I just talk about graduation and how surreal it was to like walk across the stage and everything. Even though I didn't technically graduate in that moment, I still got to walk with the rest of my class that I would have graduated with if my schedule hadn't had problems with it. So it was just an exciting time to be able to walk with all of these people that I had had classes with, as well as my boyfriend and all of the professors that I had grown to love and who hopefully grew to love me as well. On this next page, I just talk more about graduation and getting to be considered an honorary film minor, because a lot of my friends and a lot of the professors that I was kind of buddies with were in the film department, so they let me take a picture with them. And then on the other side, I have a picture of the cupola, which is the most famous building on our campus. This portion of the journal is maybe one of my favorites out of the entirety of it. It is a bunch of cute photos and nature-themed photos that I had gathered with the lyrics to my favorite song by the Talking Heads, which is "This Must Be the Place," and it has like this nice homey kind of feel to it, where you're talking about like how great you feel and how you've always looked for like where you belong, and you finally feel like you are where you belong. So I felt like it was very applicable in the moment of graduating and living with my boyfriend for the first time and just having a good space in my life. So on this next page, I talk about participating in the Sabathon, which is a readathon I did earlier in the year in May, and I read a bunch of books that made me cry, including The Goose Girl. This one specifically didn't make me cry, but I ended up loving it. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, and it's one of my new favorite books, so I just gushed about it. And then on the other page, I have a cute picture of myself with Goose Girl, and then a cute picture of my boyfriend doing his thing, and so I just wrote "I love you" because I was just feeling the love that day. So on this next page, I talk about going to Morehead City, I believe was the name of the city, and going to the aquarium there. It was absolutely wonderful. Charlie, my boyfriend, had been there before, and we always talked about wanting to go, so we finally just one day decided to do it. On the postcard, you see their albino sea turtle they have named Nimbus. He was super cute, and so when I got a postcard to put in my journal, I definitely wanted to get him because he's like a trademark of their facility. The aquarium was seriously wonderful overall though, and if you know me, you know my favorite animal is a salamander, and when you first walk into the aquarium, the entire first room is just filled to the brim with salamanders. So if you are ever in Morehead City on North Carolina's coast, enjoying the beach, definitely go to the aquarium. So on this next page, I just talk more about the aquarium visit. I have a bag in a different language, I'm not sure what language that is, and then I have a couple Polaroids and a receipt. So the Polaroids are a picture of Charlie and I and our stuffed animal that he purchased when he was last at the aquarium that we have named Beppis. And when we were there, we wanted to get Beppis a sibling, so we got a squid stuffed animal and named it Cappuccino. So that is a photo of me on top with Cappuccino on my head, and the photo on bottom is Charlie and I with our OG fish son. There's also a receipt for a place called Christie's Europub, which is where we decided to eat when we got back to Greenville, and it's like this hole-in-the-wall dive sort of restaurant, but it's so great. So I wanted to put that in there too because it was one of the highlights of the day. It really sealed the deal on making it a good day. On this page we have my graduation ceremony pamphlet. I put it in the journal a little late because I didn't realize I had a copy, so I just put it in there with some washi tape so that I could have it for future reference if I ever wanted to look back on it. And on this page, the only thing I have that you can first see is this really cute yogurt cap. I don't know why I kept it. I think I planned on putting more things there. And then on the other side, I just have a printed off sheet of paper where I talk about my bowling class some more. So I have a bunch of papers in this paper clip on this side. I'm going to run through them with you. It's a bunch of stuff from Greenville that I wasn't going to be using anymore since moving out. The first thing is this punch card for this comic book store that was there, and Charlie and I really loved it, but it went out of business for some reason. And then we have a similar situation with the coffee shop that was on campus. I can't use that anymore since I'm not on campus. Then we have some Barnes & Noble stuff. A ticket to my graduation ceremony. We have a receipt for Aldi, which is where we did all of our grocery shopping. And I don't know if we've been in an Aldi much since we lived there, so I'm kind of glad I kept that to commemorate that as being one place that we went to all the time. And the last thing I have in there is this last minute trips kind of pin back. It's basically the piece of cardboard that came with the pin when I purchased it, and I kept that in there because I'm really happy that I got the pin I did, and they usually sell out too quickly to get any. And then on the next page, I talk about the last time I ever took an in-person course in college. Hopefully I'll be able to take some more in the future, but that was my last one for the moment, and so I wanted to commemorate it. And actually, that little picture at the bottom right there is the front of my bowling manual. It was like a $4 book from the student store, and the professor of the class made it, so I just kept it afterward, and I used it to journal because I wanted to be able to commemorate the last time I was in a class in person. So this next page is just a piece of paper that says, "I'll miss you, Greenville," because that is where I was living, and I didn't realize until I was starting to move how much I was genuinely going to miss Greenville as a place. It was my home for 4 years, so it will always have a special place in my heart. And then on the other side, I have a receipt from a Sheetz that Charlie and I stopped at on our way back home from Greenville for the last time, coming home to move back permanently. So I put that in there as well, just as a travel memento. So on this page, I talk about going out to eat for my brother's birthday. We went to this place called Amelie's, which is a French bakery in Charlotte, North Carolina. There are a couple of them, and they're so awesome. So I put one of the menus in here. And funny story about the menu, Charlie, my boyfriend, was there, and he used to pick at me for journaling, but now he's fully embraced it. And if we go anywhere and there's a paper menu or something, he will grab one for me, and it's so sweet. I love that he does that. On this page is some book mail from HarperCollins. It was an art copy of My Plain Jane that I had won, and even though it was a giveaway, it was still so exciting to see my name being sent something from HarperCollins. It was just a really fun, exciting bookish moment for me because it was the first art that I'd ever been sent in the mail. On the left side of this journal section, though, I talk about going to the mountains and how much I love them. I actually went on a trip to the mountains with my mom and my brother for his birthday. So the first thing I talk about is a used bookstore that I went to. It's called Downtown Books and News, and they always give you a very cool, old-timey slimy but also vampiric looking bookmark. So I just put that in there because I have a ton of them, so I wanted to journal one of them. I also put a piece of cardboard in there with the name of a restaurant on the side. This was the first time I had ever had a grilled cheese sandwich that had fruit in it. Really, it sounds disgusting, but until you try it, you do not understand how good it is. So this next page and the pages after that chronicle my journey of going to see David Blaine, which if you know me in person, you know that since seeing him live, I have become 100% wholeheartedly obsessed with him. That man, I don't understand how he does half the things he does, and then the things that he explains, scientifically explains how he does it. I'm even more mesmerized by the fact that he was willing to put that much effort and research into it, and obviously I know he has a team, but still, it's just interesting to me that someone would be that devoted to being able to host live animals in their stomach and then explain it to the crowd. I know a lot of people dislike that because they think it takes away from the magic element of it, but I think it adds to it because you have to be like a special type of person to be able to do that. And then on the last page here, I talk about how invested I get in certain people. I talk about how genuinely interesting David Blaine is and how if I was ever somehow able to write a biography on him, how interesting I think that would be. I put that in there. And then on the other page, I have a sticker from a place in Black Mountain, North Carolina called Drippolator. It is a coffee shop, so we went there. Then the day after we get back, I got to go to my nephew's baby shower. And by nephew's baby shower, I mean the baby shower for my sister-in-law who was having the baby. So I went to see the baby shower and we had a lot of fun there. On this next pine I have two different entries. The first one is talking about a giveaway for hair products that I won that was being hosted by Sammy Joe. If you didn't know, I really love Sugar Pine 7, and Sammy Joe is now married to one of the guys from that group. So I follow her on social media and she has beautiful curly hair. And while hers is much curlier than mine, she's about like the only YouTube personality that I know of that has hair that is like a similar kind of consistency and texture as mine. She hosted a giveaway for some curly hair products that she uses a lot and that really help her with her hair. And so I entered in and I was one of the winners that was picked. So all of my supplies came and I loved everything in that box so much that I have proceeded to buy nothing but those products ever since. And then underneath that, on July 6th, I have a journal entry talking about the birth of my nephew that I was talking about on the last page. My nephew Cooper was born, and so I wrote a little thing talking about how on the 4th of July, looking out the window, watching the last bits of fireworks go off in the sky, and I got a call from my boyfriend saying that the baby was on his way. So I rushed over to the hospital and got to see him when he came out, and it was just really nice. That was the first time I've been able to do that with a baby. It was just really exciting, and I was so excited to meet him when he came out. So the page after that, I just continued to talk about seeing Cooper for the first time, and he was put in the NICU for a while. At this point in time, writing this, it had only been a few days, but I think he actually stayed in the NICU for about a week or two, and it was really scary, but he's healthy, he's fine now. On the page beside that, I write about my past 2 days, which had been spent in Greenville. Charlie and I went back right before our lease ended and managed to get the rest of the stuff out of our apartment. My dad went with us and we just had like a nice time. So then on the next page, I just have the receipt for the hotel we stayed in Raleigh. What we did was we went to Greenville and we packed up everything, and then that night we stayed in Raleigh so that we could go ahead and like drive 2 of the 4 hours to 5 hours of the trip that we would have had to make the next day. And so then I didn't journal for a while. I just got busy doing stuff at home, and the next time I journaled was actually at my aunt Ingle's birthday, and we went to see the Indigo Girls, which is a band that I've literally never listened to in my entire life. But if your dad and your aunt and your stepmom are like, hey, come to this concert with us, we'll pay for your ticket, you say yes. So on the next page, I just have this little envelope card sort of thing with an elephant on it, and I wrote some like really personal, private things in there, so I'm not going to share that with you. But then on the right side, I talk about going to see Across the Universe in theaters. If you don't know what Across the Universe is, oh my god, go watch it. It is like the most psychedelic, really admittedly cheesy movie of all time, and I love it so much. A good summary of it would be it takes Beatles music and uses that to express 3 different aspects of life within the 60s through the Vietnam War and through drugs like psychedelics and stuff like that, as well as a love story between 2 of the main characters named Jude and Lucy, you know, aptly named after Beatles songs. It's just like a really fun movie to see if you are a big Beatles fan, and I really like it. I understand that it has flaws, but it's definitely my favorite movie, and I was really excited when they brought it back to theaters, so my dad and I went to see it together. This page is a page that is just kind of a conglomerate of random things that I had shoved in my purse to journal but never did. So I have a movie ticket for Ocean's 13. Is that the name of the new one that came out? I don't know. Then I have a cardboard cutout of a brewery's logo called Angry Troll Brewing, and then I have some stuff from Pittsburgh, and I have a whole separate journal for that, so I will show you a flip through of that sometime in the future. So on the next page, I just have a list of things that I had forgotten to journal about. So it's mostly just birthdays. My nephew Bentley had a birthday, my grandmama had a birthday, my father-in-law had a birthday. On this next page, I have some like really emotional kind of stuff, so I covered that up, but I did want to show you guys the right side of the page because it's one of my favorites in the entire journal. And then on top of that, I have a postcard of the general store in that area. It has a bookmark sort of thing. It's mostly just like a flyer advertisement for Books and Beans, which is a coffee shop in that area, and I love the name of it. And then on top of that, I have a postcard of the general store that I wrote on the other side of. And then at the bottom, because I was feeling real emotional when I journaled this, I wrote a quote from one of my favorite people on the planet that says, "Don't let other people's crazy make you crazy." On this next page, you get a better look at the Books and Beans Little Switzerland logo. This is actually something that was on the side of their bag, but I saved the bag and cut it out in the journal because I thought it was just a really cute logo. So on the right, I talk about seeing Dean for his birthday, and then beforehand, going out to eat with my grandparents, my brother, my boyfriend, and my brother's Spanish tutor, who is so nice. She's such a nice, sweet person. We went to Nellie's Southern Kitchen, which, fun fact, is owned and run by the Jonas Brothers' father. So if you're ever in Belmont and you want to have like really not good food, but you want to see some Jonas Brothers memorabilia, go to Nellie's. So this is one of my favorite pages in the journal because it is the page where I talk about finally officially finishing the plot outline for my novel. I'm just really excited about it. I'm hoping to finish the entire first draft by the end of the year and then maybe take a month off in January just so I can come back and look at it in February with a new set of eyes so I can get like a better feel for the problems that it may have when I go into editing the second draft of it. On the right side, I talk about getting my car. This is a tiny Polaroid picture of me and my car, who I have named Egg. And then on the bottom right there, I have a beautiful bear sticker from a store called A Quartzy Life. I will leave it linked down below. All of her art is beautiful. All of her nature stuff I absolutely adore. On this next page, I talk about how I've become obsessed with Etsy art stickers. And so I fell down this deep hole on Etsy of looking at their stickers, and I found this beautiful store, Sleepy Koi. All of the art is beautiful and it's all really inexpensive. And the great thing about Sleepy Koi is you can order 1 or 2 stickers. She will send you little freebie stickers, and I love them. My boyfriend loves the freebie ones because they have the same logo as the one on the thank you card, and he really likes mermaids and nautical things. So the next page is just a lot of me covering it up with my hand because I went to the wedding shower for my boyfriend and I's good friend from high school. He's actually my boyfriend's best friend from high school. They were basically inseparable. Really good seeing him again, so I just wrote about that on the side. I don't want to like put any of their information out here, so I'm just covering that. But I do want to show you on the right side. This is the first time that I've really implemented magazine clippings in my journal, which is something that I see Jenna Claire K do a lot in her videos. So I wanted to try it. So on this next page, I just have some stuff from the Sadie, I guess, blog circuit. I really signed up to get some goodies from Wednesday Books that were to promote Sadie. They were like promotional items. I thought they were really cool to put them in my journal. So on this front page, I have some little Polaroid pictures, which I actually like a lot. And then on the other page, I've kind of butchered it because I tried to make it look really cool and artsy, but it is a map that was to promote the area in which Sadie goes down. I don't know what the plot of Sadie is because I don't want to spoil myself for when I do inevitably buy it and read it. And then on the next page, I talk about celebrating my 22nd birthday. On the right side, I have a paper menu that I took from a restaurant called Gia, which is where we went to eat. And it's the sushi menu, so I cut it to where it would fit in the book without the little flappies hanging off the end, and I really like the way it turned out. Then on the next 2 pages, I just have some cards that I got for my birthday. And I talk about going over to my Papa John and Marmy's house. And then I also talk about going to eat at this Greek restaurant called Estia's in my area, and it is glorious. It's definitely like a special occasions only restaurant, but it was really good. On this next page over here, it's kind of artsy. I have in gold lettering, so it's a little hard to see, the phrase "I'm taking a ride with my best friend," which is a song lyric from Never Let Me Down Again by Depeche Mode. I love Depeche Mode, they are my favorite band, so that song was stuck in my head and I wanted to do a little artsy journal kind of thing for it. And on the next page, I kind of had the same sort of thing going on. On the left, I have a Polaroid picture of some flow art that my mom and I did. It turned out really, really well. I was very proud of us for our first attempt. Then I also have a Polaroid picture of my kitty and I, my sweet little catastrophe. And then on the right there, I have another Depeche Mode art situation. So I wrote, "I stand in golden rays radiantly." Then I have 2 pages that I, as you can see, didn't mean to skip. I talk about going to table and my dad bumping into a server there that he knew from another restaurant in our area. 9 times out of 10, if I go in a restaurant with my dad, we see someone who works there that he knows. And then I also got an order from a jewelry store that I have been loving for years, and I got to take advantage of a sale that they were having for Labor Day and purchased some really cool things, including some rings that I now wear every single day. So this next page is another good example of me trying to utilize magazine clippings to kind of add like texture to my journal. So I just wrote September is a month full of back-to-back birthdays, which is true. August has a bunch of birthdays and then September has a ton too. So September 18th is the first birthday of the month, which starts with my dad. So I talk about going back to table and eating with my dad for his birthday. So then on the next page, I put in a little thing from Thai House, which is a Thai restaurant in my area, which is super, super good. And I went there to celebrate my boyfriend's birthday, and I believe that this is actually the last page of the journal. This is only a partial flip through. I will definitely be showing you guys the rest of it once I have finished it. It won't take me very long to fill up the rest of it, and then I will give you kind of an updated journal flip through for the rest of the stuff that I haven't already flipped through for you guys. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you like this journal flip through and you want to see the other ones I have done, I will have a playlist linked in the corner. Don't forget to like the video if you liked it and share it with all of your journal loving friends. I will see you next time I post a book or journal video. Bye.